All right, come into the room, come into the room. Hopefully you guys can hear me. This is my very first cam down live. Amen. And I'm happy to do it. You know, when I start doing these, when I do these kind of like low vibrational topics, I think I'm gonna cam down to meet the frequency of these topics because it's very, it's on a low vibrational level, the entire topic, the whole conversation, because it shouldn't even be happening, right? A billionaire, okay, he doesn't have $1 billion. Right now it says his net worth is over 800 million, and we know his ex-wife Nicole is going to be getting a pretty chunk of that. So, but he's still got a lot of money. He's still got a lot of money, right? A lot of money, not like you and me, right? So why is his daughter homeless? Okay, so let's get into it. As you guys know, you've heard by now, right? Dre, I think it is his oldest daughter, if I'm not mistaken, is homeless. So her name is LaTanya, and she's Dre's daughter with Lisa Johnson. He was living with her up until she was 5 years old. Okay. And now she's 37 and she hasn't seen him in 18 years. So basically she hasn't seen him since she was 20, right? And this is all according to page 6. Okay. This is where I'm getting this information from. Everything is allegedly. I know nothing about nothing. Just giving my opinions because I actually want to dive deeper into why parents stop supporting their adult children after a certain time, right? I saw a TikTok recently of an 18-year-old girl. And she was saying after she graduated, she turned 18, and after she graduated, she said, my mom wasn't lying, she kicked me out of the house, right? And the reason I want to talk about this is because aging out of the foster care system and really being on my own since I was a teenager and having to navigate homelessness, right? And houselessness from such an early age myself, right? Basically since 18, right? Living under other people's rules, sleeping in other people's houses, sleeping on other people's couches, right? I really want to have this conversation with y'all because I feel like people overestimate the kindness of strangers. And I've talked about this before on this channel, and I want to keep stressing it. That people are not as kind as they pretend to be. And that's just, it is what it is, right? It's kind of like when you have an idea of what you're going to eat and you're like, I'm only going to have a small amount, right? And you end up, I don't know why I sounded like that guy from Family Guy. I'm only going to have a small amount. Okay, I don't know. But you end up eating more than you anticipate. You always do. You always do, right? Unless you're like super disciplined. And why is that? Because you think that you only want a little bit, but your mind, but my body, right? Like your body's telling you, right? And that's what happens when people offer their generosity. You really have to understand that even if it's your family, I've seen it time and time and time again. People offer their generosity. Yeah, you come stay with us. You know, I told you guys the story. I stayed with my husband's family for several months, probably half a year, a little over half a year, close to a year. It was bad. It was bad times, okay? And I was the only Black guest they ever had, all right? And they couldn't handle it. They could not handle my Black ass being in the house. You know what I'm saying? Even though they, right? We're Catholics, we're Christians, right? These are all things people call themselves. Well, they may say one thing, but in actuality, when it's time to be giving, when it's time to let someone into your house, in the case of my husband's family, at the time, I was pretty much a stranger. I'd known them for like a year. So, I wasn't totally a stranger, but, I'd known them for a little over a year when we had to move in. It is what it is. That was almost a decade ago. Okay, let's move back to Dre. Nowadays, everybody want to act like they got something to say. Nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish. And motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre. Did y'all forget about Dre? Okay. What did he say in that song with Eminem? Mad at me because I can finally afford to provide my family with groceries. All right? Mad at me because I can finally afford to provide my family with groceries. That's the kind of hate that people are out here giving. It's sad. It really is. But he was sure to make sure that he referenced, right, that he's providing for his family. And I feel like a lot of guys do this, right? I'll provide for mom. I'll provide for mom, right? And then when you ask the baby mamas, all right, babies, mamas, when you ask the babies, mamas, babies, mamas, they have a different story, right? The baby mamas and they mamas got a different story. This guy has $800 million. He has a gigantic mansion, mega mansion. Why can't his daughter and his grandkids live with him in the mega mansion? Okay. I'm going to play both sides. Here's why they can't live with him in the mega mansion. One, he had his wife and children in there. Okay. And it doesn't matter how big the space is. All right. People don't like living with other people that aren't a part of their core family unit. And take it from me, I grew up in foster care. People do not like, they barely like living with their own family, right? So the practicality of her and her kids living in the house with, at the time, his wife and their 3 kids, that's low. That's probably not going to happen, right? Because one, I'm sure the wife was like not having it. I'm sure she wasn't having it. And I'm sure his kids didn't want it either, even though the house is huge. Right? Because at that point, she's got 4 kids. That's 5 extra people. And 4 little kids out of nowhere. Right? And that's why when you have children, you're supposed to make sure that you're having children with men that will provide for their children and for the families that they create. You're supposed to make sure of that. Because when you don't, not only are you at the mercy of the kindness of, and I call it the mercy of the kindness of strangers because I believe that it is the mercy of the kindness of strangers. And I don't care if the person is your daddy. You don't know this man. You just said haven't seen him in 17 years, so you don't know him. And what you know of him is he's not a stand-up guy when it comes to his Black family members. Well. Yes, sir. Yes, I did. I said it. Because he has the white passing wife. I don't know what she is. I'm sorry. But she looks spicy. But she also looks white passing, right? He has her and their, I believe, 3 kids in the house. But he has a problem with taking care of his Black children. I remember when Beats was sold, when they sold Beats, and that was for a bill to Apple. They encountered his son on TMZ. And if I was suave with the internet, I would put the clip in here and you would see, right? They asked his son, TMZ. They were like, oh, so now your dad's going to give you like a whole bunch of money now, right? Because he's a billionaire. And he was like, no, he's not. That's his money. It's not, right? So that's why when this news came out, I was surprised when his daughter said that he had been giving her money up until like last year because she was talking to the press. I don't know what she said last year to the press because it didn't reach nobody, but it was enough for him to cut off the little bit he was giving to her. Okay. Which might not be a little bit to us, but it's a little bit to him. Right. And she knows that. Right. I don't know why he's interacting with her like Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe she thinks he's still in Compton, like trying to make it. Everyone can look you up, bruh, and see how much money you have. And anyways, when they were interviewing the son, he said, no, I don't, my dad doesn't give me money, period. And so I was surprised when she said that he was giving her money at all. And then she said she had 4 kids. And I was like, oh, okay. So he's probably giving her money because she has 4 kids. Let me tell you something. Tori Spelling tried the same thing. When her father, Aaron Spelling, died, he had around the same amount of money. Hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Aaron Spelling, 90210, Melrose Place. Very high-powered Hollywood producer. He left all of his money to his wife. He didn't leave his children anything, like crumbs. He left them crumbs compared to what he had, right? He left them like $250,000 each. I couldn't believe it, but when we talk about setting up, right? You ask both his kids, they had the greatest childhoods. They lived in the house with him for, he was old as hell. But, he was their dad. He gave them opportunities. He gave Tori Spelling the role of Donna, which got her into the industry, right? On 90210. He put them in the finest schools. He gave them the best education. He gave them so many opportunities. So why should he give them more than $250,000? Why should he have given them more than $250,000? Even though he has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, right? All of these people say, almost all of these billionaires are saying, hey, you know what? We're going to give our kids $250,000, basically, very small amount of money, and we're giving the rest to charity. That's what they claim. But then when it come time and the billionaire died, what happened? Everybody's fighting over the estate, and charity ain't getting nothing because these kids want more than $250,000, right? When they know their parents are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So she knows her dad is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. There was a tweet that came out today that was like, if Dr. Dre was my dad and I was homeless, I would rob him, right? And I'm like, yo, facts, right? Like, dude, are you kidding me? No, you wouldn't, that'd be my life mission, baby. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I would try to get in the house some way, somehow. Take a nugget of gold from somewhere. God damn, what the, Hi, Natasha Razor. Natasha Razor says, where is the father of her kids? That's right. Tori and her brother got nothing, right? Because of their drug use and bad decisions. Well, okay. Everybody want to act like these kids. Didn't I just say, you said it right there, Natasha. These kids, now, but, okay, I believe that Dre is giving his kids with Nicole, right? The lighter, brighter kids, he's giving them opportunities. You see them on the red carpet. That's an opportunity. I don't care what nobody tells you. Now, I love Jaden and Willow, baby. I love me some Jaden and Willow. Anybody that knows me knows that, okay? Ask my husband. I'm like, I want to raise my son to be like Jaden. Like, I love Jaden, all right? One of the reasons I love Jaden is because at 15, he told his parents, I'm moving out. Jaden Smith said, I'm moving out. I'm coming up. He said, I'm moving out because I'm 15. I have millions. I'm ready to go. And Jada was like, okay, we got to let him go. And I don't want my son to move out at 15 at all. But what I admire is they set their children up so well, Will and Jada. Yes, they did. You might not like a lot of things about it, but you can't say they didn't set those kids up. One, they kept their children all in a very, he had the older son with his first wife, and they are very inclusive of them into their entire family unit. It's clear that Will Smith knows the importance of family structure when it comes to providing for your kids. And they set their kids up very well. I don't believe any Hollywood kid could be Jaden and Willow. Jaden and Willow have used shake what the Savior gave you. They are shaking what the Savior gave them, right? And they've really made something out of that. And I admire them. I admire their family. That's, to me, that's a goal to look up to. Don't be like goals and try to make your family like theirs. But you know what I'm saying? They do a lot of good shit. Okay, but agree. Where's the father of her kids? Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about that? Where's the father? And or fathers, right? Everyone's just jumping to like she should be able to take care of herself and 4 kids during a panorama that's never ending, during an economic crisis. She's supposed to be able to take care of herself and 4 kids. You know, Shannon Sharp saying, oh, she, a grown woman, blaming her father for her responsibilities. Is his grandchildren not his responsibility? But April Jones is? Well, that's your responsibility? Why does she get coin and the grandkids and the grandbabies don't? What's up with that? You know, they love to talk about the hair and the weave, and they spending their time. They'll be like, they're throwing all the money away in these beauty shops, right? They're giving all the money. I can go to a beauty shop and buy 50 things, and the price would be $50. I mean, I'm sorry, but I take a trip. If you ever on my Patreon, you would know I take a trip, into the city. I live in a gated community. I live in the burbs, but I'll take a trip into the city and go to the hair shop. I can buy 25 things, $50. It's not expensive shit. Get real. You know what is expensive? Fendi, Prada, Gucci, what these dudes want to wear and what they buy for their preferentials. You know what is expensive? Paying Kitten Scaniels $100. Sorry. I'm sorry. Pay Kitten Scaniels $100 so that he reads your comment. He doesn't even read the comments. Oh my God. That's a lot of money. There's some guy out there right now paying Kitten Scaniels $100 a night, telling his baby mama he ain't got it. We're not talking about that spending though. You want to talk about little trinkets at the beauty supply store? What are you talking about? Y'all like to wear gold jewelry and stuff. You know, my husband doesn't have one piece of gold jewelry. My husband doesn't have one piece. He doesn't have an earring. All right. I kept being like, you want some diamonds on your wedding band? He was like, no, I don't. I just don't want that. Okay. But you'll be around these dudes, they Mansa Musa, just glistening, glittering, gold. They'll be wearing more gold than the woman that they're with. You don't see a problem with that? That's not a waste of money. You drive around New York, you see who's waiting in line at Fendi, Prada, Gucci. Who's waiting in line? Kittens. That's who. Waiting in line. Okay. You think about these basketball games and these football games, the money that they spend to go to these, and season tickets. All right. But you can't make sure your grandbabies got Christmas presents under the Christmas tree at Christmas for the Christmas time, for the Christmas presents. Come on. Where are the priorities? It's embarrassing on a global scale. It's embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed? It's fucking embarrassing. That's why you understand that? You coming across men who will fight you tooth and nail for their women, for their children, for their land. How are you going to compete with a man doing that? If you're a guy who can be bought out, I think about that freaking DA guy with this Breonna Taylor case, and he's sitting up there, him and his wife are having a baby with their little psycho eyes, right? Look at the picture. Their eyes are like psycho, right? And it's like, you guys are all bought out. All these politicians, all these black politicians that sell us out. Anybody you ever seen fake cry has sold you out. They can be sold out like that because their only agenda is me and mines. So now she's driving around in a car, costs $2,300 for 3 weeks. I think, I think she needs the budget. I think she needs to budget. Again, let's go back to the kindness of strangers or the lack thereof and why parents want to throw their kids out when they turn 18, right? I think a lot of parents want to throw their kids out when they turn 18 and graduate high school because, one, economic reasons. They don't have the finances. It costs a lot of money to live as an adult, all right? I lived by myself as an adult in New York City for years, okay? It costs a lot of money. I started off paying $800 to rent a room, and then it was $1,600 for a studio in New York City. It cost a lot of money. All right. So now we're not talking about Dre. We're just talking generally, right? About why parents kick their children out at 18. Now, I don't know. Listen, I grew up in foster care system. They want to kick you out at 12. Okay. It's a fight for your life. All right. I don't know why a parent would behave that way. But like I said, I believe for economic reasons and finances, they don't have the finances to continue supporting an adult. And I think that there's this idea that people have when they're having these conversations in the Black community. There's this idea that like Black people don't want to take care of their kids after 18. Nobody wants to take care of the kids after 18. Okay. I've been in a lot of people's homes that have tried it. Again, when me and my husband stayed with his parents for several months, okay? They didn't want me there. They didn't want him there. And his other brother was there too, okay? This was during the Great Depression that we had, okay? Not too long ago. Well, it was the Depression, not a Great Depression, all right? And nobody had no money and no jobs, okay? So we had to stay with them, right? They didn't want none of us there. And they had a big enough house, right? But they didn't want any of us there. Okay. People don't want, and I've had to live with a lot of strangers coming out of foster care, not having any money and no support system, no parents, no family to lean on whatsoever. Okay. People don't want another adult in their space, right? I see a lot of adults being like, oh, it sucks for y'all because my daddy gonna take care of me for life. Good for you. That's fantastic. My husband's we're gonna take care of our children for life, right? But that comes with boundaries. Okay. And one of those boundaries is when you're in another adult's home, you have to do what they say, right? Especially a lot of people saying, why should I have to pay anything to stay with my parents, right? Okay, but you'll have to follow the rules, right? And what tends to happen is parents will keep you in a child's place when you live with your parents as an adult. They're not going to see you as an adult because part of becoming an adult is leaving their house and showing them that you don't need them financially. Okay? That's part of becoming an adult. So until you do that successfully, they're not going to see you as an adult. So that's why it doesn't work when you end up living with your parents or living with somebody, right? Because they have their own rules for how they think things should go. And they end up putting you, once again, into a child's place, right? They're treating you like a child. They're giving you rules that they would give a child, right? And I don't think that people can really argue that. I mean, depending on how ridiculous the rules are, right? But a lot of people would say, you know, don't come in my house after 11, 10, you know, don't come in my house after 10 or 11. The kitchen is closed. All right. It's not a black woman's house I've lived in. That's not an understanding. After dinner is served and I clean the kitchen, or you do, right? The kitchen is closed and you're no longer allowed to enter it. But you're a grown-ass adult. So how is that freeing? So how is that something that you like, yeah, I stay at my parents and have to follow rules like that? You'd much rather just live on your own. And that's one thing that I've learned through having to live on my own, because I didn't have parents to fall back onto. Again, if you have parents to fall back onto, that's great. But, you know, I'm watching this 90 Day Fiancé show, and a lot of these, the people from, you know, outside of the country that are on the show, they have to send money home to their parents, to their families. I know y'all see them saying that. Their families will come in being like, I know it happened with Chantel, Boo. All these families are like, you need to send money home, period. Period. You in America. Y'all know how people feel about America. They think it's some golden place because they've, you know, terrorized other people's countries on top of terrorizing Black Americans. They've terrorized people in other countries. So now they think that any and everything associated with America makes something magical or something. So they expect their son or daughter that's living here to send money home to them, right? And when they do that, what happens? What are they saying? Like, you know, I'm not taking as many shifts. They want more and more and more and more and more and more and more. It's very dangerous to get people dependent on you financially. That's very dangerous. I've had people dependent on me financially. Let me tell you something. If to give somebody something, asking nothing in return, it's almost unheard of. Where do they do that at? You know, when I think of the children that are adopted, and they might have neurological issues or something, you know, and then the adoptive parent sends them back. They do it all the time in foster care. They'll send a child back. You roll your eyes at them, right? Like, I don't like this child, right? And they even do it with the adoptive kids, right? It got too hard for me. People can talk a big game, but when it comes to work, they don't want their home life to be work. They don't want their home life to be hard. So why would they open their doors, right? This is how people think, right? For just any and everybody. Now, I don't know how you have hundreds of millions of dollars and you don't set all of your children up. That should be a life goal. That all of your children are set up. But see, they get these new families, shiny and new. They get these new families, right? And they want to do for those kids what they never did before. Now they ready. Now they ready to be a dad. And they want to show off for their non-Black wife who comes from a non-Black family, who I'm sure is holding his ass accountable for taking care of those kids. They shame you in other communities for not taking care of your kids. You don't get to come to Thanksgiving. And you got to watch your back. Because if you're not taking care of your child, that's somebody else that's got to. Who was taking care of his daughter when he left the house when she was 5? Who was protecting her? People take for granted the presence of a family, the presence of a mother, the presence of a father. People take it for granted, but not everybody gets it. Not everybody gets that opportunity to have a father. He could have still been a father to her. But they pick and choose. Exactly. People want kids. They don't want a parent. They want kids. They don't take parenting classes. And you know how easy it is for men to put things on the back burner, for a man to say, you know what, I don't care, I'm not interested. I'm not worried, I'm not bothering with this. You know how easy it is for them to do that? It's so easy. So he gets this new family, and he's not thinking about his kids with the other. I'm sure every time he left one woman and went to another, you know, the kids from the other home saw him less and less and less. But how do you go 18 years without seeing your kid at all? Well, I got a deadbeat daddy out there. Let's ask him. Deadbeat dad? Oh, yeah, that's right. He's not going to pop up because he's a deadbeat. Okay? But y'all online pretending that everybody didn't have to deal with a deadbeat. Can you believe that shit? I would go to sleepovers at my wealthier, don't live in the hood friends, white and black, and their dads would be there, and I'd be like, what is this dude doing here? I was like, I don't know, it's kind of creeping me out. Like, why is he here all the time? Isn't he gonna go? I was so excited because I would spend a lot of time at my classmate's house, okay? Because I lived in the hood and I wanted to be in the burbs. All right. I went to PWI on scholarship, if you're wondering how that happened. Okay. I went to PWI on scholarship, kindergarten to 12th grade. So all my friends came from wealthy, well-to-do homes, right? I spent a lot of my weekends there. That's why I sound like this. Okay, guys? That's what happens when you get a good education. All right? You learn neutral American speech. It's not talking white. I don't sound white. There's not a white woman on the earth that sounds like me. Maybe Charlize Theron. I don't know. Okay. Okay, let's get back to Dre. So, you see him taking care of his biracial children. You don't see him taking care of the black children. And a lot of people speak to that experience, I remember when they first started doing these black daddy daughter videos online, all of the kids were biracial, And I was like, what is going on, right? And I don't have a problem with biracial people in our community. I love that, all right? I support that. But you have to love the black people in the black community too, right? Like, did you guys know that? Did you know that for a black community to thrive, you should definitely be loving the black people within that space to make that work? And it's so backwards, I was watching this Truly, and there was right, because there are people who will take care of their families, right? And again, that comes with a cost, that comes with rules, right? So there's this white guy on this Truly episode here on YouTube, okay? And he was talking about, he was a gay white guy, okay? So in his house is him, his ex-husband's black lover, boyfriend, boo, whatever, okay? His 4 children with his ex, and then the guy's new boyfriend, who was his daughter's ex-boyfriend. This guy used to date his daughter, and then he started dating him, and now they have a child together. Anyways, they all live in this man's house. Why? Because he got all the money. Because he got all the money, right? And so maybe the daughter feels a little differently than dad thinks she feels about him dating her ex-boyfriend. But what can she say or do? Because she's in his house, living, right? Even if she left and she was still depending on him financially, she couldn't tell him how she really felt because she's financially dependent on him. So people who, a lot of times people who, not all people, okay, there are definitely good people out there that just take care of their family. Like I said, the Smiths, right? The Pinkett Smith Shakurs, all right? Pinkett Smith Shakurs, great family. But generally, right, there's this like kind of narcissistic megalomaniac personality for a person that would say, all of these people can live under a roof with me, right? And you see it in this guy's video on Truly. You see it where he's like, I don't see a problem with it, what I did, and I do it again, right? And he's like, I don't give a fuck, right? That I'm in a relationship with my daughter's ex-boyfriend because he's got all the money, he's paying all the bills. So what can they say? Oh, wow, thanks, Nat's opinion. What's going on here? Wow, thank you, Nat's opinion. That's so nice of you. Thank you. That's why I went black screen, baby, because I'm like, hey, the truth got to come out. The truth, that's right, truth, T-R-U-F, okay? The truth must be told, all right? When I get to ranting, I get a little Southern with it, you know. I'll get back to the neutral American speech, all right? I give y'all everything. Thank you so much, Nat's opinion. You rock. You're awesome, all right? That makes me feel like I want to continue on with what I got to share. All right, so this dude on Truly got the whole family up in there, right? And I think it's sick. I'm sorry, I think it's kind of sick. He's like, I don't care what anybody says. I'm like, oh, really? Of course you don't. Because it's all about control. And it's all about getting what you want. Who does that remind you of? Puff a Diddy Pop? I think so. Because he got all them kids living in the house with him. And did he say everybody that's got my blood, connected to my blood, whoever I saw growing up, y'all can all stay in the house with me. You can see that. Diddy is like that. He takes care of those kids, all right, with those stolen royalties, all right? But what's the price that you pay when you're one of Diddy's kids, right? Well, you might just be dating Lori Harvey if you're Diddy's son. You might just be dating Lori Harvey. Now Diddy's dating Lori Harvey. And what can you say and what can you do? Because he's got all the money and you're dependent on him financially for your lifestyle. Do you see the importance of getting your own? Now, what if that dude was like, you know what? Just working hard. What's his name, Justin? Sorry. I couldn't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to tell me they were friends. He stole his son's girlfriend. And she rubbing up on him as if like it's cool or something. I don't know. I just think it's weird. Like, you know, to be that young and like rubbing up on an old guy. Anyways, I know he got a lot of money. But when you around money, like, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, don't ever fumble the bag. That's one thing Lori teaches religiously. Don't ever fumble the bag. And she doesn't. So, yo. This dude had to share his girlfriend. What can he say when Diddy and Lori are in the, all right, in the master suite? Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Gotta watch his daddy and his ex-girlfriend go in the master suite. 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 Oh my God, it's sick. It's sick. You know what? If I was him, I'd be like, you know what? I'm about to get a tiny van and I will live off somewhere on the grid of the property because I can no longer stand dad stealing my girlfriends, right? So that's what happens when you depend on somebody financially. They can abuse you, right? And again, this was almost a decade ago when I lived with my husband's family, but the little bit of power that they had, that was abused. That was taken advantage of, right? We were made to feel that we had to behave in a very certain way or we would be thrown to the streets. All right? And that's why we worked vigilantly, and this was during a depression, to get the on out of there. Because who the hell wants to live like that? Right? So you got to keep that in mind. I think that she would be fine living somewhere in Dre's mansion, but we've seen what he did to D Barnes. And we've seen his temper around Black women. And I think that she's probably better off living outside of the house walls with him. He clearly likes, a certain type of woman. And it doesn't appear to be Black women. So you got to stay safe, right? I have a lot of colorist family members that I don't feel safe being around. I don't give a fuck. When I talk to you and I tell you about how hard it is to be a dark-skinned Black woman in this society, all right? Just having the general conversation because y'all have never had it. And these dudes sit there and turn their nose up to you, but they wanted you to cry because they couldn't be the football. They didn't make him the quarterback because he was Black. Right? They all got a story about how they was the best quarterback, but they wouldn't let him be the quarterback because they was Black. But colorism is something that Black women are making up. For what? It's literally in the reason why y'all get treated like shit too. Dummies. So anyways, I don't think it's a good idea to give people power over your autonomy. That's what happens when you have to live with your parents. So back to the discussion of living with your parents over 18 and would your parents support you and shit. Yeah, they absolutely should help you when you need it, but they should also be setting you up 0 through 18 so that by the time you get to graduation, you're on a clear path to supporting yourself and taking care of yourself. In foster care system, they call it independent living. They literally give foster kids classes, okay? And I don't know how much they do it and but they literally made us in order. You have to keep in mind, I'm 18. I'm in the 12th grade. And the American foster care system is telling me I have to take courses about learning how to live independently or I'll be homeless right now. They'll make you homeless right now because you turned 18 if you don't take these courses. This kind of shit they do. If you can imagine living like that. So independence is very important to me. I have a YouTube short video that's a little popular. You guys can check it out whenever. It's getting a little popular, right? Where I'm making a joke about college and having a wealthy husband. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm an artist. Literally, this entire channel is under entertainment, and I love to joke. So it's obviously a joke. And all these people are sitting there being like, gold digger, gold digger, gold digger. You'll never hurt my feelings calling me a gold digger. I think it is the compliment of a lifetime, okay? But the bottom line is, don't ever pretend like I don't give a fuck up. Don't ever play when it comes to me and education. My mother didn't do what she was supposed to do in many ways, but the one thing she did was emphasize education through raising 5 kids on her own. Emphasize, you better behave in school. You better do your work, okay? And I think y'all know what's coming when you don't. So, people can have whatever idea they want to have about me. I could care less as long as you watch my videos and watch my content. I really don't give a not at this point, boos. Sorry. So yeah, you should want to know how to take care of yourself. I grew up in a way that I had to know how to take care of myself. But at the end of the day, life still happens. And 2010, 2011 was an economic crisis in America. Just like we're in a crisis now, and shit happens. And he should have been able to offer support to his daughter, not under the condition that she say nothing about him to the media. Because if he was helping and supporting, she wouldn't have to say nothing about you to the media. Now, everybody knows about Mariah Carey and her sister. Everybody knows about this, that she helped her sister for years. But, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing that she can do. And there was her sister, you know, is often homeless, right? Because she has a high risk lifestyle that Mariah doesn't want to be around. All right. And if you don't know what a high risk lifestyle is, it's basically when you're doing things that are likely to cause trauma, are likely to cause police involvement, are likely to draw violence. High risk lifestyle. Her sister was living a high risk lifestyle. You can't save people from that. There was a story that just came out as well, everybody missed, about Michael J. White. Okay. Michael J. White's son just passed of COVID. It's very sad. Michael J. White is like 50 something, and he had his first son when he was 15. Okay. So his son was already in his like mid to late 30s when this happened. And he said in an interview, he says, his son ran the streets. He wanted to hustle. He wanted to live a high risk lifestyle. And there was nothing he could do to save him. So he got involved in drug use. If you don't know who Michael J. White is, look him up. I know you know who he is. You just probably don't know him, you know. If you don't like it, no. It's not. No. Do you want it to be over? Sorry. I was like, no, I don't want to get an attitude because maybe you're just asking a general question. But no, it's over when I say it's over. What the hell? All right. I like your hair, sis, but let's be respectful. I pops. All right. So fuck. All right. It's only been 47 minutes. Y'all be on lives for fucking 8 hours. It's been 47 minutes. The fuck? Now you gonna throw me off. Oh, didn't think so. All right, I'm gonna get back to it. Michael J. White's son had a high-risk lifestyle. And because of his drug use, that exacerbated his COVID symptoms. And he passed. He just passed away, right? A couple months ago. All right. Nobody's is like, you know what I'm saying? No one's like, oh, it was Michael J. White's responsibility. I figured. That's why I stopped myself. All right. But you know, I've gotten that before. So I'm like, what the hell? I'm trying to make a point here. I am. And the point is, and like I said, appreciate you coming on. Stay a while. Yes. I've only just begun. No, you know what? I'm going to be here for probably another 10, 15. All right. And then I got to go to the grocery store. Okay. I don't do yelling at my subbies. Anyone that knows me knows that. So that's why I speak loud. But I don't believe in yelling at people. All right. So unless people are being mean to me, then all bets are off. All right. So Michael J. White's son passes, right? And he says he lived the street life. There was nothing I can do. No one would be like, oh, there was something you should do to stop him, right? And Michael J. White said, at the end of the day, he's a grown adult. At the end of the day, he was a grown adult. You can't make a grown adult do nothing. So let's get back to Dre's daughter. She's 37, 38 years old. Sorry, I don't know her age. All right. She's got 4 kids. And as much as her father has failed her, she cannot fail those kids. She cannot use that as an excuse to fail these kids. And right now, it's bad enough that, she says the children are living with friends. Who the hell are friends? What about your friends? What about your friends? Who the hell are friends? I'm sorry, maybe I just haven't really had a lot of great ones, but I'm sorry. No, it's not a friend. No, I mean, I have like literally 1 or 2 friends that I would like let my children stay with. But like, you know what I'm saying? Who the hell is a friend? They should be with family. And I personally believe that Dre should let the grandbabies live with him. He should let the grandbabies live with him and hire a nanny. If for some reason he feels that he can't live in the house with his daughter because maybe they have a contemptuous relationship, right? Statistically, when a child lives with a non-biological male, they're more likely to be abused. And that's just a statistical fact. When they live with a non-biologically related male, okay? So the man is in the house, he has no relation to these children. That automatically increases the risk of abuse. But you have to understand when you have children, because you should put your children first through anything. So at the end of the day, her father may have very well, and it looks like it, failed her when it came to raising her properly and setting her up for life. Hey, I grew up through the crack cocaine epidemic, and even I went to private Catholic school. Even I went to a private Catholic school. You know what I'm saying? So why didn't his daughter go to the best of schools? Going to private Catholic school is why I went to a good college and met my husband through college. Understanding that, I was looking for a man that would provide me with consistency and stability and protection that I've never had before. Okay? I knew that because I went to private school, and I went to school around people whose parents had money. They thought it was them with the money, but as they see now, it was your parents that had the money, right? Yeah. It was your parents' money, like I told y'all when we were in school. I told y'all. I would tell my classmates all the time, this is not your money. This is your parents' money. This is not your money. They're like, it's mine. And they really thought that like everything their parents had, like they had. I'm pretty sure that they can see now, wherever they are in life, I haven't heard about none of them being rich and not having no more money than me. So, I was like, so now they see it. That was your parents' money. But I went to a private Catholic school, and it showed me how people move with money, right? The things that you do. And I studied and I observed, which helped me greatly in life because I was able to watch how people with money move, right? Even though I grew up very poor, right? In abject poverty, in the foster care system, through the crack cocaine epidemic, right? All that. So he should have set her up. It's clear that I guess he didn't. Plus not having him in her life, I'm sure that affected her greatly. I think that it doesn't feel good at all to see the way that he is happy to be seen with his children with his ex-wife, Nicole, who also happened to be biracial. But he doesn't want to, give LaTanya, I believe that her name is, the time of day. He doesn't want to give her the time of day, LaTanya. Hasn't seen her in 17 years. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. But other than he just said, so, I mean, we see this in the, I saw a Twitter meme. Oh, no, it was just a Twitter post, right? And this guy was like, why are there so many mixed people in the NBA? I'm sorry. And I'm like, you know why there's so many mixed guys in the NBA. Come on. Come on. Right? Because their daddies were in the NBA. Right? And that's how it works. Right? Usually these tall dudes that make it to the NBA, their tall dude daddy was in the NBA. Well, now all the guys are mixed. Or biracial. They're biracial. They're biracial guys. They're biracial guys. Okay. So, but I think this person used the word mixed, so that's why. Okay. Sorry. And the same even happened in the rap game, right? We saw it with Drizzy. All right, Drizzy was the first. You know, you got J. Cole, you got Logic, and now it's just a bunch of white rappers too, right? Like, I'm just being honest, because that's the gateway, right? The biracials are the gateway to white people taking over the industries that y'all had a strong hold in, right? It used to be like, you got to go to black people to get hip hop. It's not that way anymore. You know, it used to be, you know, we find these amazing, talented boys in high schools and on the court playing outside. And now it's, you know, they go to basketball camps and they work with the best coaches, and, you know, they live with their dad because the dad wants to live with his non-black wife and biracial kids. And now they're getting in the NBA, right? And now, because of the one drop rule, anybody can say the N-word. So anybody with melanin can say the N-word and be in hip hop. I think it's weird that these guys are acting like, that black men are acting like they don't understand why there's so many biracial men in the NBA and in the rap game. Okay? Because they opened up the gates for them, which is fine. But like, now something that you guys had a firm grasp on economically, you no longer have. That's not y'all grasp anymore. It's just something for everyone, right? And I don't know. I mean, you know, you're gonna have to deal with it. You know, when it comes to the whole biracial black discussion, I think that depending on where you live, people tend to see you as black or biracial based on if you live in a place where there's more white people, right? So if there's more white people where you live, say Minnesota, they're gonna call biracial people black, right? Because they're happy to other in that way. If you live in New York, you probably would be called biracial, and or they'd ask you if you were Hispanic or something, right? I've been asked if I'm biracial. That's how weird people are, okay? In like New York, you know, so I don't know. But yeah, I think that, and as someone in an interracial relationship myself, I believe that, and that's why I've done the work, so I can say it with confidence, that people in interracial relationships need to do more to give their kids an identity outside of throwing them, you know, where, you know, just throwing them, tossing them to black people and being like, ask them and figure it out, or, you know, you're black, now go over there. You know, it's so weird. It's kind of like what are, like, they do it like, you know, you would like a some puppy or something, like, you're free, or, you know, let the puppy go, and like they run over to black people or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you need to make sure you give your kids an identity. And the majority of biracials in this country are children of white mothers. And I think that it's weird that these children are growing up in a house with white mothers who are telling them that they're black and like sending them to black people to find a sense of identity. I think that's weird. I think it's wrong. And then, Heidi Klum has a son with Digimon Hansu. I mean, the boy's black. The boy's mine, the boy's mine, the boy's mine. The boy's black, right? He's biracial and he's black. If he says, I'm black, yeah, no one's going to really say anything because he has very, very dark skin. He's literally being raised by a white woman. And there's exceptions to everything. All of these celebrities that adopted black kids, right? The kids are black. They're not white because they're raised by a white mother, right? But again, these are exceptions. I lived in a foster home with a white woman. I'm still black, right? There's exceptions, but generally, right? Being raised by a white woman, who is your mother, okay? Being raised by a white woman who is biologically your mother is not a black experience, right? So that's why I call biracial people who are biracial black, I call them biracial or biracial black, right? And I see a lot of them doing that as well. It's a lot of times it's the women. I feel like they have a harder time with it because they are so indoctrinated by black men that they're black, which I mean, you be around black men long enough, you be Italian and they gonna tell you you black because they want access. Just because they say something doesn't make it true, okay? So, there was this white woman talking on Clubhouse a while ago, and she was saying her son's football coach told her that her son is black. I'm sure he did, so he can get access to you because your son's black or whatever, but I don't care what he said. The boy is growing up in the house with you, and you're his mother. Give him a sense of identity so that he doesn't have to go to strangers. You understand? With some one-drop rule nonsense. It's not that difficult. So anyways, that was my little sidebar about biracial. Look, he's paying the ex-wife $300,000 plus a month for life. He's got the money. Again, maybe she's messed up one too many times. Maybe she, we don't know what's going on with her. You could be like, oh, he should help her through anything. He should help his grandbabies through anything, their children. But at the same time, again, as I've told y'all earlier in this life, it's very dangerous to make someone believe you will give them something for nothing. All right? Now, I'm not a parent yet, so I know that's, it's supposed to be different when you're a parent, but not when you're working with adults, okay? And if you want to be an adult at 18, part of being an adult is paying your own bills, right? Generally, what I feel tends to happen in America generally is that if you're 18, you go to college and you can stay with your parents until you go to college. You can come back and live with your parents during the college breaks. And then generally, people will either move out on their own, live with roommates after college, or move back with their parents for a few months until they get a job and get on their feet after college, okay? Either way, you don't want to be an adult living with other adults under another adult's rules. So, LaTanya says, there's something that she said that I was like, huh? She said, it's embarrassing because people are looking at me wondering why. What Nicole has got is what my mom should have got. Cut the brakes. What Nicole has got is what your mom should have got. I'm not sure if they were married. Were her mama and let me see. I don't believe her mom and dad were married. Okay, that's one. Nicole was married. And y'all can say what y'all want about marriage on this app, but it matters in a court of law. You understand? It matters in a court of law. In a court of law. In a court of law. Marriage means something, baby. It might not mean something to y'all on YouTube, but it matters in a court of law. Okay? And your mama didn't get married. didn't get married. Your mama wasn't married to him for 20 years. What do you mean? She said the money she got, that's what my mama should have got. What are you talking about? Your mama was with him when he didn't have that much money. All right? That's why they say, hold on to your love. You got to hold on. I guess y'all wasn't listening to those songs. You gotta hold on to your love. You better hold on. All right? What did Beyonce tell you? I take it seriously. She gonna be rocking chinchilla cones. I let you go. Okay? So if you knew the dude was gonna have money, that's not somebody you let go. Unless he's maybe psychotic and or abusive, which she might have been dealing with. Either way, they broke up. I don't think they were married. It's not the same, boo. It's not the same. It should be the same. Everything he's given those children with her, it should be the same. He should have reached out to his daughter and been like, you know what? I couldn't give it to you when you were younger, but I want to buy you a house. Make sure you and the kids are always taken care of. A car, make sure you and the kids are always taken care of. Now let's talk about what you're doing and going to be doing in terms of, let's make sure that that's somewhere on a plan that you can, pay for the repairs and the general upkeep of these things, right? That I bought for you that are paid off, right? So, let's work on what you'll be doing to provide for you and your family. And part of that is choosing a decent man and or men, whatever, right? To be your baby daddies or daddy. All right. That's part of it. I've had conversations with family members and been like, look, the dude is a felon. He's not going to be around me. I don't know what to tell you. And I do what I want. And I know you can date whoever the hell you want, but he's not going to be around me. I don't let people that make bad mistakes over and over again around me. Right? And so if they want to play with dudes like that, they get what they get. I think these men on YouTube are telling y'all that. These men on YouTube are telling y'all that. I've told you dating a felon is a bad idea, right? So if you come to me in a decade and you got 4 kids, what's that? Okay. So I'm in the wrong, right? And of course, I don't think that he, I don't think he set her up for life and fathered her the way that he should have. So I don't believe he had these conversations. But I'm telling you, these are the conversations people will have with somebody, right? Well, they'll say, don't date that raggedy ass dude. Don't date the raggedy ass dude. I don't know what to tell you. And the bitch, shit, god damn. And the chick won't listen, right? Because she in love. All right? Want to call you a gold digger because you vetted. Every time you vet and you a black woman, you a gold digger, right? Because you're supposed to be with a bum, right? You tell these women, dude's not good for you. They don't listen. And they have a bunch of kids by him. And now everybody's got to pay for it. Remember what happened to Jennifer Hudson's family? Because I do. But I can't say nothing about having dudes that was in jail for violent crimes around me. I'm supposed to just be quiet and eat my food, right? Absolutely not. In fact, you have to have been on the honor roll to be around me, baby. Point blank, period. Everybody around me has to have been on the honor roll. Dean's List, something. Give me something. All right? I want proof that you know how to behave. And I've said it before. My 2 cats and dog know how to behave. I won't have an animal around me that doesn't behave. That's why my husband's family is not around us. And that's why his mama's not around us. And that's point blank, period. because she doesn't know how to behave. You're going to behave around me the way I behave around other people. It's just common decency and respect. And you're not going to cross my boundaries because I'm a dark-skinned Black woman. No, you're not. No matter what her daddy did, she should have made sure that the kids that she has were provided for. And I don't mean staying with a friend. So it's a lot going on. It's levels to this. He's in the wrong for what he's done to his daughter. And she's in the wrong for how she's failing her children now. Because by the time you have kids, everything your parents did to you, that's between you and your parents. Ain't got nothing to do with these kids. You're supposed to shape up. You know? I found a lot of healing in calling my deadbeat daddy. A couple years ago, yes, I did. I called my deadbeat daddy and gave him a piece of my mind. And I'll do it again. Because I want to be on 106 and Park pushing the bin. I will do it again. And all he's ever going to get out of me is a piece of my mind. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all will get on and be like, you're not helping your daddy? Don't know the story whatsoever, right? Don't know nothing personal that happened. I will never help that. Never. Never. I don't care. Never. All right? That's a promise. Because he didn't help me. That's why he will never be helped. Because he never helped me. Not worth a damn. I grew up in foster care. He didn't help my mama. And they were married. But see, he chose drugs. He should have been excommunicated from the community for not taking care of his children. You see, that's why they got rid of Malcolm X. And who was it that got rid of him? The brothers that looked just like him. That's who got rid of him. Why? Because Malcolm X, the greatest Black man that ever lived. Yes, I did. The greatest Black man that ever lived. Malcolm X was holding these accountable to taking care of Black women and children, to not be molesting little Black girls. And in their community, they would bring you forth. So what they were doing to these young Muslim Black girls who were being impregnated by old Black men, they would bring these girls forth and say, look at them, look at how they failed us. They're pregnant teenage mothers, and they won't tell us who's impregnated them. So we have to guess and shame them, right? Not looking for the man to shame them at all. Malcolm X found out who was doing it, and they took him out. Okay? There's no accountability for the havoc that these men walking out on their children has wreaked on these communities. I see it in the men all the time. I see it in the men all the time. See, when you're raised by your father, who is a good man, there's a certain silence about you. You don't jump to argue with women. There's a silent stoicism. And what you get here? A bunch of yapping. Why? Because the daddies wasn't there. The daddies wasn't there. So the way they snap back and bark, I'll be listening to some of these other lives, and they'll be on panels with these dudes, and they're like, I said, because I said, I don't let a man talk to me like that. Aha, baby. I don't let a man talk to me like that. They're like, oh, you think you're so bad? Why don't you have a conversation with so-and-so? One, I don't know who that nigga is. Two, I don't let dudes talk to me in your kind of way. No. I'm married. I don't let dudes talk to me in your kind of way. If I was or wasn't, it don't happen. All right? I take that as aggression. That's not something I accept. So that's gross to me and it's weird. You can get heated in the conversation, but all that barking, you're not going to be hyped in my face, knuckle. Okay? No. I'm not used to that. So, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Okay. I believe that parenting does not end after 18. I believe that people should parent their adult children in a respectful way. But that is dependent on each family, right? I believe that parents should raise their children understanding that when you're 18, you're an adult, you have to take care of yourself, you have to provide for yourself, and they should set them up as best as possible to get that done. For me, that means paying for the best education possible for my children. I'm not sure if I will pay for their, if they get into a top school, of course, we would pay for that. You see what I'm saying? And then I would expect my children to be set up and be able to move out on their own, whatnot. If they needed more time, we could do that. But you can't just be living with me with no plans and no goals, right? And you can't be living with me with no reciprocity. Everybody has to do their part. So it's a lot of expectation that I'm seeing in this conversation about living with your parents after 18. Again, I think that's an American idea. I don't believe that they do that. They'll be like, oh, the kids will live with their parents. Yes, but they're all contributing the money to the household. They're not letting the kid just keep a bunch of money on the side. Everyone has to contribute to the household. Nobody has money like that to take care of a grown adult. And then their kids, Of course, once again, this Dre situation is different because he has the money. But I guess he didn't have the heart. And that's very sad. And the kids are paying the price because they're living, with non-biological family members. So, and it's sad too because Eminem, y'all love to discredit Eminem. All right, like white rapper. All the rappers is white now. Let me tell you something. Eminem takes care of his daughter, whoever in his family. He's brought in 2 or 3 kids that's not his. Calls them his daughters. But you can't take care of your own daughter? Terrible, terrible, terrible. All right, I'm going to get going, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you guys soon. All right, bye.